Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports. It is our weekend program, Saturday Sports Special to be exact. A warm and, a warm welcome, I should say. Well, depending on where you are, where you're listening, where you're watching, a warm welcome to our program. Nice to have you around. Good afternoon to you, Rudian.
Pleasure. Good afternoon to you. When you say the warm, yeah, I got nervous.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
that's why I thought, right? Because I say it depends on where you are, right?
depends on where you are, boy.
Yeah, a warm
It's
welcome.
cold on this side. It's cold on this side,
Yeah, so it's a
but it's
warm
good.
welcome.
It's always a pleasure to be on with you, and thank you for having me on once more.
Right. Yeah. So good afternoon once again, folks, as we delve into having another program as usual. Always exciting to talk sports. And this weekend, we'll be we'll try to stay in the parish of St. Patrick. We'll be probably shortly be chatting with the principal of the McDonald College. He's also he also has assumed the role of I should say the role of chairman of the secondary schools principals association, games association. As soon as we get his video, we'll bring him up. But Mr. Carl Andall is joining us very shortly. Yeah. And we'll be talking about so many things happening in the parish, including the recent secondary schools football championships. They featured in three of the four. Well, they featured in all the finals, and they secured three of the four. Right? They finished second. Yeah. So there was runners-up, and then one, and then they win the others. Right? Then we also had the launch of, I came across it, a very interesting program of launch, the athlete development program, right? Development and support program. So it was actually launched in St. Patrick, in fact, at the McDonald College, right? So there was a launch there. Mr. Andall was also part of that. And then we look at the preparations for Intercol 2026. Rudian, I think we have quite a bit to talk about. We do?
Certainly, certainly what it is. But I think that's what it is. It's quite a bit to talk about, and I don't really think there's anything else. Yeah, that's about it. Now, is it next week? Is it next week that is the GBSS games?
Well, the GBSS Athletics Championship, yeah, it's on the 3rd, which is Wednesday.
The third. Oh, it's Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah. It's Wednesday. So there will be basically the first. And by the way, the date for the Intercol Championships 2026 already set. Interesting enough, Mr. Andal will give us full details on that.
Full details on that, yeah.
Yeah.
And our women football play today?
Yes, the
national women team, right?
They're playing against Costa Rica.
Yes.
Yeah.
Team look good.
The team look. You say the team looks good, right?
Team looks good. Yeah. Let's see what happened on paper. What happened on paper? It looks good. Some of the players those are in college. I've been following a little bit and see how they're doing. So let's see how it plays out when they play together.
Right. Yeah, that's the that would be the interesting thing.
It's always a challenge with teams and so forth. Yeah, always a challenge. Yeah, so certainly. Yeah.
Right. So Mr. Andal will be. He's basically just getting himself organized there. I'm actually seeing his name and everything, and once his video pops up, then we'll have him to discuss quite a bit of details. While we are that, Rudy, and we have a number of college games on today, right?
The big one is on today.
Yeah.
The big game. Number 15 versus number 1. Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah.
That certainly will be a big game. Surely will be a big game. Uh, um, it's always hard for Ohio to win a game in Michigan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and even yesterday was a big game. Texas and Texas A&M. That
Texas
that
A&M.
was
Yeah. Yeah.
that suddenly come down to
Is there Alabama and Auburn today? I think Alabama and Auburn today, because around this time you have a number of the schools in the various parishes clashing. Parishes in the state.
in the state and in the
Yeah,
conference too.
yeah, in the
Yeah,
conference. Yeah.
in the
So
conference they clash into SEC
SEC.
big SEC matchup. So yeah, and we have seen over the week Quincy decide to go to Maryland.
Maryland. Yeah, and a lot of people have been questioning the decision as to why an athlete as his caliber is going to a school, well, quote unquote, they'll call it a no-name school in terms of the track and
Yeah,
field. But as they're saying, the coach, he feels comfortable with the coach, so.
and remember I said and I said several times, track and field is an individual sport. It's team until you get on a relay team, but basically it's an individual sport. So going to a warm weather doesn't make a difference if he's going to run fast. You have to be comfortable with the coach. You have to be, yeah. But I thought he would have gone pro, straight pro, and maybe through his contract, maybe continue his education, but not go to school itself on a scholarship. But I guess they have the reasons why, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is the same thing would have been said when Kirani chose Alabama, right? There were folks who were questioning, well, why Alabama and not, probably some school in
So
Texas,
some warm area.
yeah, and these sort of things like that. So, it all
Yeah,
depends.
it has to be the coaches. Remember, you have to be comfortable with places that you go, right? And if you're not comfortable, then it's gonna be hard for you to say yes to go to a school. And we have seen it with a lot of big name athletes who goes to big school and then nothing come from it.
Yeah. And
Nothing come from it. So yeah, so certainly you have to do it. Same. You mentioned something last week that been resonating on me quite a bit is when you speak about after the watching the football game and seeing the results of the football game and they ask what happened next for those athletes, what happened next for them, or what's the pathway for them to continue on to college and
mhm,
can you go to Tom CC? That's it. So suddenly that resonates with me and say what's next for our athletes in Grenada after high school. I think that's something we really need to dive on and really push on it. And the question is, what's next for them?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
next?
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about it. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that would be part of what we want to discuss with Mr. Andal regarding that program that you know which is, I think, we ask many times about our student athletes, what happens, where's the support system for them, and if there was a support system, where they might have been now, and all these sort of things. We asked about, for example, when they finish high school, for example, and they go into the tertiary institution, especially in the Grenada setting, what happens to their ability to continue in sports, right? That sort of example. There's no system in place to ensure that they continue in sports. So the whole issue of the athlete development and support system is very important, and not just in track and field, but
In
all
all the
other
sports,
sports.
all the
Yeah,
sports,
all sporting
all sports.
disciplines. And
Yeah.
I think it's a very good program. And as I heard the minister speaking, and she says, this is not a one-off thing. This is something that will be there for a very long time. So my hope too is that it will be institutionalized, meaning that whatever government is in place, it will be there because it is institutionalized, meaning that it's almost something that by law, just as how there's a ministry, just as,
removed.
just as how there's a Ministry of Sports, that program should be there to ensure that our young sportsmen and sportswomen, they have the support, starting with the talent identification, the level of support, and the development and all these sort of things, bringing them all the way through. Because as they were saying, and I heard it from speaker after speaker, many times we hear people start gravitating, including corporate Grenada. They start gravitating towards these folks when they become something. Yeah, and there's no one there to give them the sort of support. So that's why sometimes we have that sort of reluctance from some of the folks, because there's no one there to give them that support. But as soon as they hit stardom, all hell break loose. Everyone wants to support them. Everyone wants to do this and to do that. And there is this saying that, where were you during my struggle? So, it's an opportunity to be part of the development process. That's what it is all about. It's an opportunity to be part of the development.
And listen, Michael, it take a long time to get there, and like again, time and time again, I'm seeing through this, this administration, the sports is certainly undermined. Because we have seen things, we have seen them involve quite a bit, to make things happen in sports. And I want to give them credit, because credit have to give credit when credit due.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we have to give it to them.
Right. Yeah. And talking about giving credit, let's give credit to this this man here, Mr. Andall, who is with us now. We do have to give him credit because he comes, Rudy, and he comes on and he says a lot, right? And sometimes there are folks who don't take him serious, but he's a man of he's a man of conviction, right? Because he
certainly
he told us the last time he was at the program is not a one-off with McDonald College. Mr. Andall, congratulations once again, because you did say to us that where you might fall short in one sport, you might make it up in another. So you probably fell short in track and field, but you made it up in football. Congratulations once again, and good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, sir, and thanks much.
Yeah. So let me start off with that, because we were talking about some other things. But give us this whole thing about McDonald College and McDonald College's penchant for success these days, especially when it comes to track and to football, well, sports in particular. But we have seen the development in track and field. We have seen the development in cricket and in other sports. But your dominance in football speaks a lot, because this year was a very good year for you. In fact, I was telling you, if you were given points, you would have been top in the list, because you won 3, you came second in another, so therefore you almost had maximum points. Tell us the secret about McDonald College and their dominance in football.
I trust you see my expression, because I'm really shocked at some of your statements, sir. A while ago, sometime this morning, I saw a memory on Facebook. And that takes me back to the year 2009. In 2009? Yes, in 2009, sir, we had a big fete on the streets of Sateres. And let me tell you what we celebrated.
What?
We were Intercol champs.
Okay.
Cricket champs. Second in the junior division. Volleyball champs. Netball champs. And we are also champs in the junior, knockout, and senior league competition. So when you see we started dominating football, this statement is not so correct, because 2009 to 2025, how many years, sir?
Yeah, that's a lot. You come in almost, you're just short of a decade in terms of 3 years, right? About 3 or so. But
Just out of what?
I'm
20
saying,
years. Not a
yeah,
decade.
sorry,
20,
2 decades. Yeah, 2 decades, I
two
should say.
decades.
Sorry.
2
Yeah,
decades.
2 decades. Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
meant to say, yeah, 2 decades. So, yeah. So, and that's about, let me see, about, in terms of the average person in school, that's about what? About 4 times? Yeah, because if you
Yes,
check
yes.
in at the average of 5 years in school, yeah,
Correct.
4 times, yeah. So
Correct.
that's probably a whole probably generation or 2, you know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, but this is good. This is good. The only thing about that is, Mr. Andal, is that how do we ensure that the success of these sportsmen and sportswomen over the years continue for a period of time? Because, and I assume you will probably segue into the importance of this athlete development program and all of that, right? Because you have illustrated how, dominant and consistent, where you have not been dominant, you probably would have been consistent in terms of featuring in the final, being competitive for all these years. But what happens to these young sportsmen and sportswomen after they would have left the 4 walls of McDonald College, as I use an example?
That's an excellent question. And I heard Mr. Sylvan spoke about our clash today versus Costa Rica.
Mhm.
On that team would be 2 of our female athletes. I mean, athletes, they were footballers as well as track athletes. That's Shiranda
Okay,
Charles
right.
and Rachel Noel. They would be
Okay.
featured in this evening. They are on scholarship in the United States.
Mhm.
So as we speak, we have a number of young people, both male and female, who have received sports scholarship, both football and athletics, and they study in the United States. So they will be returning this evening. So that's one of the things that happened to a lot of them, and that's what we strive for. Because to me, gone are the days, your secondary school, you dominated on the local scene, you played well, and after all, you just go to oblivion. We don't really want that for our student athletes. So as much as possible, we are trying that. And what I've realized is that once you send 1 or 2 over to the United States and they did well, then eventually they open the pathway
Yeah.
for the others to follow. So that's one of the things that happened to a lot of our top athletes in terms of furthering the career.
Right. So let's go back to that, exciting period for McDonald College, which culminated this week gone in terms of clinching 3 of the 4 championships titles at stake.
I must say, as I said, even though we did it before, 2025, there was a special thing about this one. This one was really, really sweet. It was extremely sweet. And I don't know if you saw the celebrations, but you could see it in the reaction of the fans,
Yeah.
the parents, and even the supporters. Because last Friday, the Friday before last, the 21st of November, the stadium was entirely maroon. Most of the stadium was entirely maroon. So, as I said, we have done it before. Although in 2009, we did not place anything in the girls. But this year, and you know what is strange, Mr. Bascom? One of the championship we were certain of winning this year was the one that we lost.
Mhm.
That's the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were confident with this one because our top scorer had 39 goals. She's also featuring this evening. She's a current student. That's Abigail Williams. But she's also part of the Grenada squad who will be coming up against Costa Rica. And we're really confident of winning that one. But eventually, alas, that's the one that we lost. But regarding the legacy, though, and I always tell persons that the St. Patrick's and Andrews, St. Max, is full of talent. And we are not a St. Patrick's school. So you'll hear me coming here and talk about, well, St. Patrick's did well, because I'm telling you straight out, St. Andrew, despite the fact that some persons may not like that, but we have students from St. Mark's, we have students from St. John's,
Wow.
students from St. Patrick, and we are from St. Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And these areas are extremely talented. Our task at school is to harness this talent, because, the amount of time they spend in school is really difficult to teach them the sport per se. But we identify the talent early, and we tend to harness the talent. What we also notice is that when you do well, you tend to attract talent. So this Monday we're on the streets of Sates, and a lot of the primary schoolers, they were out looking.
Right.
And they're shouting and telling me, Mr. Andall,
Yeah.
come September next year, we're coming to McDonald College. We'll be coming to McDonald College.
That is like a recruitment. That is like a recruitment, right?
Thank you very much. And one of the peers is saying, no, I'm not going to McDonald College. I'm going to Montrose. I'm going to Montrose. So his friends telling him, if you go to Montrose, you'll cry because you'll get lashed, you know? So at the end of the day, when you do well, it's a kind of advertisement for the young people out there, you know, when they have certain interests and talents, they tend to gravitate towards you because they realize that once they come within that environment, they will do well also, you know?
Yeah. I have something for you, but let me say good afternoon, Edwin. Rudy and Edwin is saying that is you know, the Buckeyes is going up against the Wolverines today, you know. But and Ali says congratulations, well done to McDonald College. But your good friend, you know, Toro is out there already. Mr. Andall is in. Hope Mr. Andall thanks the University of GBSS for allowing McDonald College to win a championship. GBSS wants to share some of the championship with the schools, but there will be no more step until 2026. That's from Lincoln Toro Deputy.
Yeah,
I give it his full name.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. But Mr. Deputy should know it's over 20 years, more than 20 years. GBSS have not defeated McDonald College in any football match. It's over 20 years. So we were taking anything that they give us. You know, they are so respectful to us now as we speak in football that even on social media, they don't make any boast or anything like that before they come up against McDonald College because we are the farther away where football is concerned. So thank you for that one.
What do you point to for that? And I keep saying that level of dominance, because even though you didn't win, let's say the female, right? But you have been featuring in those finals over the past few years. So it's still a level of dominance in terms of that. You reach the final and probably for the last so many years, you know, you will be in the final. Once you compete, you're in the final. This sort of thing. What would you point to for that level of success, if I may use that, for McDonald College over the years when it comes especially to football?
No, well, as I said, the legacy is very rich because, you know, as a historian, when I talk to the older folks, they will tell me since in the 70s, even the 80s, you had this wars between McDonald College, GBSS, and Shaper. So what I realized, this is not something that is started just recently because, for example, my good friend, Mr. Alfred Logie, who was he was the manager of NIS for many years.
Yeah.
He gave me a story. He said, as a student of McDonald College, they defeated GBSS at the 4 recreation ground. But you know, in those days, you had six form. There was no national college. So when he graduated in Form 5, he went to GBSS in 6th form. And the next year, he was part of the GBSS team. In McDonald College, they didn't give him any games. He thought as a McDonald College old boy.
Yeah. That's how we should have treated Mr. MP, Mr. Joseph Andall. Even though he's from St. Patrick, he attended the GBSS, you know, and he said he said it plainly at the lunch, you know.
Yes,
Yeah. But that said, Mr. Andall.
Okay, so hold on. I had another point. So I'm saying that it's
go ahead.
It started really, really long before. But you see, we placed ourselves in a position over the years where, so for example, our current coach, Mr. Kwan Baptiste, I coached Mr. Baptiste as a 12-year-old. Because, you know, for many years, I was the coach of the junior team. And Mr. Bascom, I'm telling you, I could show you my trophies out there as outstanding coach. I had 9 championships. So imagine this year, we're about to make the finals. I'm speaking to the 3 teams. And I'm telling them I'm here in this for a very long time. I'm telling them that I coached Mr. Baptiste as a 12-year-old. We won championship with Mr. Baptiste as a junior. And they're looking at me, so Mr. Andall, how long you here? How old are you? you understand? They're asking me this question, but the thing about it, winning is a habit. And you literally have to know how to win. So, for example, when I attended McDonald College, when I started McDonald College, we had Mr. Nicholas as a main coach. And that's an advantage I think we have also. We always have a coach who is a teacher. Listen, I'm always seeing this. I always seeing teams coming out against other schools who have coaches who are not teachers of the school. and to start to the level of respect, level of control the kids have for them, is not as much.
Right.
So here, you are a teacher, you are a coach. The kid respect you in the classroom, out of the classroom. And if anything onto what happened on the field of play, you know what would happen?
Right, yeah. They have control over that. Yeah.
Right, and that would come to me. So I think that's an advantage that we have been having over the years, and we are really, really blessed to have persons like Mr. Carl Andall, who played national at all levels, passionate at McDonald College, who came back into the fold. So that's an advantage I must say we have over some of the other schools. And then you have a principal who was a coach, and you have a very good idea of the game. So we are covered, because at the gaps level, I always give my fellow principals a lot of talk. I said, listen to you. It's very, very difficult for a little bit in football. It's really difficult because,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Toro will continue with his banter, So he says after Ali the Bellot and Edwin Sam and others left, but so the level of what I should say competitiveness, the quality of football you have seen this year, how do you compare to previous years, and how do you gauge the quality of footballers you would have seen in this year's championship?
That is a difficult question. You see, anytime you start to compare, you could end up in a lot of problems. Because remember, children could only play what is coming up against them at the moment. So somebody might say the standard is high, somebody might say the standard is much lower, per se. So the standard of play was really, really good this year. But to compare it against previous years, I'm not very enjoying it. It's very difficult. It's the same argument persons have when they talk about West Indies and they start comparing Vivian Richards' era and our era. It's really, really difficult to do that. But I must say, though, one of the things that stand out for me, and this something I must talk about, is the reintroduction of the primary school football. For years as a sport enthusiast, I was always moaning about this. The reasons why we don't have any primary school football. And this year, it returned. And personally, we were really, really shocked at the public response where the football is concerned. So to me, the football is alive and well, and we must go right back down to grassroots. So I'll make an idea, Mr. Bascom, on behalf of GFA. This Wednesday will be the finals of the primary school football. And listen to that now. Listen to that. Can you imagine that? In the Wagiti finals, we have St. John Sports and Hurricane. In the finals of the primary school football, we have St. Peter's IOC from Guav, and we have Bonnet Government. Can you imagine that? And there's a lot of hype.
Guav and Victoria.
Yes, Guav and Victoria. Yeah. Guav and Victoria. And personally, based on the standard of play I'm seeing at the primary school, to me, it is very, very easy for the standard of play to continue, or at least to come to how it was in previous years, because we had a challenge like at the secondary level where kids come into secondary school and they have never really played a competitive game.
Yeah.
And that to me is an issue. Some persons will tell you, oh, they have an opportunity to play with the clubs. But if you do a topographic analysis of Grenada, you'd realize there's a lot of built-up areas, large areas, with no clubs, with no football clubs. But they have primary schools. So to me, we have a lot of club competition, U15, U17, but the start of the primary school football would ensure that most of our kids get an opportunity to play.
Yeah. Before we go on to Rudy and there, Roger is asking you a question, Mr. Andall. Are you satisfied with the number of games played in the inter-secondary school football competition?
Yeah, I'll answer that directly. Yes. Over 10 years ago, the format of the competition was changed, where instead of 2 zones, we had 4 zones. And personally, I never agreed with that, because what you find happening, so you have 4 zones. In one zone, you might have 4 teams. So they play each other twice. So the spread of the tournament was not really good there. So as we speak, we have 2 zones. So in the junior division, we have at least 7 or 8 games before we reach to the quarterfinals. And to me, that is really, really good. So in my zone in the junior division, we have McDonald College, we have St. Mark Secondary, we have St. Rose, we have Shaper, we have Harpeel, we have PBC, we have Wesley College, and even the school from Carriacou. So yes, I'm very satisfied with the number of games. Also, for a while, there was no knockout tournament, so we just used to have the league, and that is it. But the knockout was introduced. So to me, the number of games we play, it's really, really appropriate.
Rudian?
Certainly. So Andal, it's good to see you again. There's certainly no loss come when you talk about football from McDonald College. Before my time, McDonald College was always strong in football, and during my time, we were strong. And in my time, I can remember not even calling my uncle in there, but talking about Miguel Warwood, who played for National, Bruce Swan, who played for. So we always had, when it comes to football, national players. So that's not new for us. And football has always been something that was always strong in McDonald College, and that's years, maybe before your time, But and that was one thing that was always strong. My thing is that we talk about it in terms of is what happened to those athletes after, and certainly that's going to speak about. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, there's two questions I wanted to ask you. The first one is what you answer in terms of football back in the elementary school, because certainly that was something that was lacking, and not only football alone. I'm hoping that we could see all other sports playing from the elementary school to develop them from there and then coming up. So what do you think about in terms of all sports playing in the elementary school, and not just football or track and field, cricket, but to see volleyball and to see netball, to see all those sports happening. So by the time they come in, they have some sort of idea and the basic of the sport.
It's a very good question, and I not say I'm not representing the Minister of Sports, but I always have a keen interest in grassroots sports. There's a big challenge though at the primary school, and what I've noticed is that the composition of the staff. For years in both primary and secondary school, the male teachers are the ones who really carry the sport.
Yeah.
2025, like we are moving away from this. Most of our schools now, the staff is predominantly female. And that is creating a challenge. Just recently, a program was launched where they identify persons with potential, previous past sports people with potential, and they would be assigning them to both primary and secondary schools. So what you find happening, the task of carrying the sport will move away from the regular teachers in these schools and come to the sports person. I trust that the Ministry of Sports, though, have plans in ensuring that these persons are trained.
Yeah.
So eventually they become multidimensional. You don't want, let's say, somebody who going as a footballer or cricketer, and that's the only area they have the interest in. You want to ensure that these persons are trained in multiple sports. So whatsoever sports program that is needed in primary school, they could develop it. Also, so for example, for the primary school football, at the JFL level, we had to take a multidimensional approach where we got the union on board, the Grenada Union of Teachers, the Ministry of Sports, as well as the Ministry of Education to start back that program. Because let me tell you this, we had some challenges in bringing back the football in the primary school. Some persons, well, Mr. Bascom says something about talk plainly. It's very good to talk plainly because some persons see sport as a waste of time. Yeah. And they also see it as a waste of contact time. So that was a challenge we had to overcome. So all I'm saying here is that it's very, very important. And that's why you see sometimes athletics, it always appears like if athletics is ahead of all the other sports. Because, for example, Rudian, I don't know if you know, but the preschoolers, even the kindergartners, they have their own sport.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good. So they have their own sport. They come up to the primary school. So I'm in full agreement with you. Cricket is one I always been mourning for over the years. We got some gears recently. I chose the plan to utilize these gears and allow the kids at the primary. So we should be seeing every sport. Netball, basketball, swimming, every little single thing at the primary school. And as I said, with the assignment of this coach, I chose that because when you talk to some of the primary school principals, the female principals, they will tell you they don't know anything about it. And there wasn't any personnel in the school to carry it on. What I want to appeal to the Ministry of Sports to do is to the persons in question when you are signing, make sure you pay them a good salary, a salary on par with the regular teachers, so at least they'll be motivated to work.
Let me ask this question now, and we go in a little personal now. Over the years, I went to McDonald College. My entire family went there. I believe I live the closest to McDonald College. I don't think anyone else lives closer to McDonald College than me.
Mr. Bascom, you live in the
school. And I don't see, like I said, my mom, then my uncle, my aunts, everybody went there, my friends. But today, we see a lot of former athletes who have kids who's not sending their kids to McDonald College. And we see a lot of athletes, a lot of young athletes from the parish tends to branch out to other schools but McDonald College. Those that live close by, on a cost aspect, it's better for them to go to McDonald College for cost instead of paying for busing because they can walk to school. What do you think is that the problem issue why these former parents not sending their kids to McDonald College?
It's a good question, but I must say, I think this is a thing of the past.
Okay.
We have suffered from that for many years. So I'll give you some stats from this year. From this year, CSEC entrance, for the very first time in over more than 15 years, we had an intake of 126 new students. And I am telling you, that covered most of the athletes and most of the top people within the parish and even outside of the parish. So personally, the issues I think we are having, I believe it's a thing of the past. I think we have gone past that. Although, they'll tell you in some quarters, familiarity breeds contempt. Michael Bascom went to GBSS. I guess he loved GBSS because he had a wonderful experience there. And in his mind, whatsoever he wanted from GBSS, he got from GBSS. Some persons, they'll never return to the past school, especially if they don't feel satisfied. Sometimes it's no fault of the school. Some persons would go to school and based on issues that they have or they're not satisfied with their life and they look for something or somebody to blame. But I'm confident that we have gone past that. And Bascom, once we've gone past that, the trouble will be in the football only.
Well, no, but I understand too, because I think based on what you said earlier is that McDonald College has evolved such that it's just happened to be in St. Patrick. So it's not so much, as you say, Sutton School or St. Patrick's School. Again, it is just happened to be located there. And just like probably the GBSS, because you had students coming from just about every parish, including Carriacou, coming down to the GBSS. So too is McDonald College, right? They are drawing students, and which is good too, because it means that they're seeing something that they can, something that they like to the institution. Is like going to a college, in the US. Why have you chosen Arizona over Oklahoma? Because of such and such. Same thing probably McDonald College, right? They don't mind, parents don't mind being from St. John's or being from St. Andrew and sending their child to school at the McDonald College. Why? Because they are sure that the child will get a well-rounded education in terms of the sports and in terms of education, So gone are the days, Rudy, and where, and don't be surprised if the neighbor, who's the person who's living right next to McDonald College, is going probably to the Adventist school in, over in on the other side, these sort of things. But it's good too for the school, because it means that it will be spreading its constituents, right? And it's not just around the area. It's not just a village again. It becomes a global community for the McDonald College, because you might be able to go, somebody probably living in Wester Hall Heights or in Fort Judy that proudly say that my alma mater is the McDonald College. Nothing wrong with that. And it's good for the school.
No, certainly, and that's one of the things that that I see. Let me ask you this one more question just before Myers can come back on. Over the past many years, we had Mr. Hensley Jeffrey, who was, always the sports, teacher within the parish. Almost every athlete sort of go to him, and you see a lot of this a difference then with the athletes in terms of getting involved in sports. And now he's retired. Do you see somebody new taking over to start developing or have that attitude towards sports is way he had it in St. Patrick's?
Well, he retired, but he's still doing some work with the St. Patrick's RSC team per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I expected though is that the other schools would have given him the opportunity to work with the St. Patrick's team, since he have more time on his hands. But it seems like the intense rivalry between the schools over the years, they cannot get past that.
Exactly.
So that by itself, it's a barrier, and it's creating some challenges, because I now see Mr. Jeffrey as a freelancer who is no longer with St. Patrick's RSC, so he could do work with
anyone. Yeah.
But you talk about Mr. Jeffrey, but I'm surprised you didn't talk about Mr. Glynn. Because
I didn't talk about Mr. Glynn because Mr. Jeffrey is kind of there. Mr. Glynn was kind of is no longer kind of done in the stand. And I say Mr. Jeffrey because he have the time. And Mr. Glynn, we still go to him for that knowledge still, but in terms of getting him out as much to, it could be right. So,
William, you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're saying. You have no idea what. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Mr. Glynn is still up and about. That is what he's saying.
I say, William, you have no idea what you're talking about.
So Mr. Glynn is up and about, Rudian.
Remember, Mr. Glynn is in mid-80s as we speak.
Yes, he is.
Yes, and up to last year, we actually had him coming out. Right now, more than anything else, now we normally would go to him. So, for example, when the team is outperforming well, so he attend football matches, he attend our sports, he attend our hits or so. But when we go to meet in the stadium, he would look at the live, and then we'll go back to him and he'll give us suggestions and hints of the different athletes of how to get them to improve. So for example, on the 13th of December, which is a few weekends from now, the Neville Green Classic will be held at National Stadium. And he normally travels with me, so he would be there. I would go at his home, pick him up, bring him to the stadium and back. So he cannot give you what he used to give you before, the 24/7 per se. But every now and then he'll make an appearance. And I'm telling you, once he's alive and lucid, we'll try to squeeze each and every bit of knowledge and expertise from him.
Right. That is a very good point you just made there, because during the past week, from last week, we had a discussion, and which kind of jolted me to write in a commentary in terms of recognizing our past sporting icons by way of documenting the past. And you just mentioned Mr. Glynn, for example, is one of the names that came up in our last discussions, for example. So, Mr. Andall, how do you hope that the history of St. Patrick, the history of McDonald College, could be well documented? Because you're a historian yourself. Yeah, that's okay. Well and good. In your head, you have that. But the average Joe probably in St. Patrick may not even know the sort of things that you know, the sort of things that Mr. Glynn knows, the sort of things that Mr. Jeffrey knows, right? How do we hope to have those things documented so that generations to come will understand, will appreciate the sort of sacrifice that was made and the sort of achievements that were, gathered, and showing that the rich sporting history of the parish is well documented?
Good question. I saw the article, and I know generally they tell you African people, we love oral history. So we like to keep everything in our head and speak about it, and eventually one or two persons gone and then it's lost. So I'm thinking about a few persons here, because Mr. Glynn himself is a good writer.
Right.
Together with Finley Jeffrey, that's Scholar, because Scholar have a lot in his head too. So you're giving me ideas, and we'll have to work on this. I agree. The history of the parish, and specifically also the legacy of McDonald College. These are things that we must capture, because you say So then we just 2 or 3 persons your last, and after a while, that is it.
That's gone. Yeah.
It's gone, yeah.
That's true.
That's a good one.
Because 5 years from now, the folks should still remember that 25 years running, that McDonald College has been dominating secondary school football, for example, all these sort of things. So that's important. And I'm glad that that is something that, these are sort of low-hanging fruits. And I wish that we can start something like that going, whether it's probably from the school first, and then that can spread out to the parish. But somehow we need to get that documented. And while we're on the parish, Mr. Andall, give us an update, because the last time you were here, we were talking sadly about the for recreation ground. It appears that you're smiling now. It seems as if all problems well.
Because I'm smiling because some pictures were posted on social media regarding the for recreation ground, and persons came to me and they tell me, I'm certain you are the one who sent those pictures for Bascom.
we have our resource.
We know the challenges that we face, and I must say though that we are able to overcome them. We travel to Progress Park to host our sports. The community there, and you see that's an advantage that we have. Some persons were kind of concerned McDonald College moving to Progress Park to have the sport, but as I said, Tivoli, Poetry, Conference, Paradise, even Grenville per se. We have a lot of parents and a lot of kids there.
Yeah, right.
So what you find happening, the sports was well received. The public supported us well. Also, well, I have to call him sister school, the St. Andrews Anglican Secondary. The principal then was Mr. Jeffrey. She was very accommodating because the sports was the day before ours. So we were able to use most of the infrastructure, most of the setup that they had for the sports. Right. So there was no need to carry furniture and other things on to the Progress Park. And but the challenge I have though is that when I talk to the groundsman in 4, my good friend Robin Belfont.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah.
Say, Mr. Andall, you cannot have sports here no longer. Went to Progress Park last year. Make sure you go back. I'm not marking no field.
Robin is a trouble man. We know Robin is a trouble man.
I know Robin from the time I have. Since I know myself, I know Robin, so I know Robin very well.
Yeah, Robin is nice.
But as I said, the field is in top condition. I think there's one area of concern though, a small patch, and I spoke to him about it. Because me and him work closely, although he's telling me we're not welcome to have our mid there. And so that challenge is gone. Also, we had an issue with the fencing. I have been speaking closely with the Minister of Sports, and she assured me that the issue with the fencing and some issue with the toilets that will be remedied before the 2026 season. So I trust when we reach Sunday, we will be going in a much better position than where we left off.
And what's your date for your sports meet?
February 13th.
February 13th. Right. So remember that, Rudy, on February 13th.
Yeah. Let's go back to another question. It's Mr. Glenn invitation. Why is it not at the full recreation ground?
No, it's a national event, Rudian. I could answer.
No, I'm gonna ask. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bascom. Thank you.
It's a national event. It's not. It's just named after him, but it's considered a national event. I mean, it would be nice for it.
We could come up with a sport up here in St. Patrick and name it
after him as well. Yeah.
As you tell, it's a national event.
It's a national event.
Yeah, it's a national event. So it's not and I mean it's something shows that it's recognized for its contribution to track and field. So it's considered it's on the national calendar of events. Right? Yeah. So it's not just like a Sutter's meet or St. Patrick meet, but it's named after. It just happened to name after Mr. Glean, who is from St. Patrick, but it is considered a national event. Right, so it can be, and as it's Andal is saying, they can have something and name it after him if they want, but it's considered a national event. That's why it's at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, because what had happened is that the performances from that event is considered, whether it's a record or whatever, will be considered like a national record or whatever. It could be a national record, regional record, international. Somebody could come and run
Yeah,
a
it's
90
it's,
or
it's
something.
yeah, it's World Athletics. It's World Athletics certified. Yeah.
Right, certified. Yeah, so that's why it's at the stadium. Mr. Andall, let's move on to. We'll come back to other things, but I want to make sure that we try to get quite a bit in. Intercol 2026. What are the, if ever, any challenges in terms of preparing? I know a lot of, focus on a lot of other things, and but certainly the Intercol 2026. And by the way, congratulations! You are now in charge of Intercol. And I know, we can expect very progressive and progressive thinking, progressive backing from you regarding Intercol. But what can we say in terms of the preparation so far for Intercol 2026?
Well, initially you spoke about challenges. Ideally, we always try to have Intercol the last week of school, because it's a big build-up, and normally after Intercol, it's really difficult to get the kids to focus. One of the challenges we had for 2026 though is the proposal for a series between Australia women and the West Indies women. So because of that, that has forced us to move Intercol very early in March. We are looking at the March 10, 11, and 12 for Intercol dates 2026. A challenge we would have at the school level is to how we could get the kids to focus and return to school after the climax of Intercol. But regarding the preparations, I must say we have a team together. Other than the Principals Association, there is a local organizing committee, which consists of policemen, sports enthusiasts, various persons in the community. And this team we'll have some pressure on most of the schools because of that, the season will be very short. So as you say, GBSS Sports is next Wednesday, and most of our schools are forced to have their meet during the month of January and February. But without a doubt, Intercol would be successful. I must say 2025, I was very concerned because Mr. Bascom, for one of the very first times, by 7:30, we had lines at the stadium. So I don't really know what would happen this year. And from all appearances, it did appear like the stadium, the capacity, especially on the second and third day, is too small. So I've been talking with the Minister of Sports to see if we could get some temporary bleachers to feed the massive turnout that we expect in 2026.
But it's a big challenge for
It's a big challenge, yeah.
For the organizers for 2026 Intercol. What would you attribute to that sort of keen interest and in secondary schools track and field championships?
Well, to me, the interest is always there. The interest is always great. The interest is always dynamic. But after a hiatus of a few years, remember we had Walk to Rule, and then we had COVID.
COVID, yeah.
Yes, to me, persons are back and they're literally back with a vengeance. I see that as an opportunity for we to take that to higher heights. Although, as an enthusiast, our biggest challenge is to get the public enthused and interested in athletics on a year-round basis, and not just around when the season comes. And that takes me to the program we launched yesterday, where, speaking to the minister, a lot of persons, both local and in the diaspora, it seems like they have a certain level of maturity now regarding athletics, recognizing the fact that it's a year-round event. So more and more persons, private persons, as well as the business entities, are pledging support of our athletes because they recognize that the performance of the athletes at Intercol or the school sports is not an overnight thing, and it hinges on months of preparation and support.
And it also brings into question to the need for corporate Grenada, as stated, in particular, not just corporate Grenada, but as we were saying earlier, people tend to gravitate towards champions. They tend to gravitate towards winners, and they tend to gravitate towards them when they have struck stardom, right? And not in the trenches, right? And I think this program is hoping to change that around, to change that mindset, for them being there to give them the assistance. You also mentioned to me, before the program, of students from your school would have been receiving assistance, and little or nothing was said because the people who were doing it didn't really, wanted the sort of publicity and things like that. So
yeah, that is correct. However, corporate Grenada 2025, I'm seeing a shift because, for example, this year, for the very first time, we had a prize giving ceremony for Intercol. I don't think we ever had one of that before. And here, a lot of, what I should say, corporate Grenada, there's a big shift. So, for example, all the record holders, all the persons who established new record at Intercol was rewarded tangibly by corporate Grenada. Also, at Intercol, we were able to, all the teams. So, for example, everybody got an appearance fee, but all schools in both male and female division, from 1st to 10, they were able to get monetary prizes. And all that was possible because of corporate Grenada. So, based on the trend that I'm seeing in 2025, I expect that in 2026, if that continues, you know what will happen? A first place winner should be able to live with no or less than $20,000, which would go a long way in helping the schools defer expenses. So corporate Grenada, I believe, I know we have criticized them over the years, but I think slowly but surely they are coming on board, and I'm happy for this.
Yeah, that's good. And I thought, Rudy and others, if you have not, you can always go online and check the recording, because I thought it was a very nice program. The launch it is, and the initiative is is well, I think, needed, right? And whatever support you can give, I think we should and encourage to give as well, because it will ensure that we talk a lot about the after the fact, that if so and so could have been done, if so and so was done, if so and so, and then we have an opportunity now to make a difference very early, and things like that. So give us a little more on the program itself. So that aspect of it, which was launched, deals specifically with what? Just the students and the parents, or the teachers?
Okay, so the launch here encompasses, the parents are not involved in it as we speak. Okay. So what happened? The students and the teachers. So the program was seeking to identify talent in all the sporting discipline. But as I told you yesterday, it's a challenge for some of the areas, especially the sports that there's no grassroots and is not at the primary school. So if you look at the mix of the sports people yesterday, or the students, you had primary school as well as a secondary school. And they are trying a holistic approach. So you're not to say, well, Rudian is a good athlete, we'll provide him with supplies, we'll provide him with equipment, we'll provide him with things to eat, and we'll just forget him. They are looking at a holistic approach. So obviously you must have a mentoring program. You must have counselors and such to talk with the athletes, because strangely, a lot of the times, some of the talented ones, they have issues. They have home issues, they have social issues, they have behavioral issues. And if you don't keep a close lead on them, or according to Mr. Jerry, if you don't track them properly, so to me, they have to be fully registered, and they have to be tracked properly. So you're not just say, well, okay, a child is 10 years, you see talent, and all of a sudden by 11, 12, you're not seeing them anymore. They have to be tracked properly. And as I said, I also mentioned to the minister that it shouldn't be a one-off thing. It's something that parents and the children should look out to. However, I also believe in establishing standards. So, for example, if I am selected, or if John is selected to be part of this program, there are certain expectations we have for John. And after a while, if John cannot meet these expectations, then you lose the scholarship and we'll get somebody else. But as I said, it's at its inception, and I think it's a very good idea. So it's just a matter of refining it as we go and making sure that the objective, the reason why it is established, is able to achieve these objectives.
Let me get some. I thought we had some. Roger, corporate Grenada would love to support individual athletes before they attain stardom, but information on timings, heights, and distances are either not readily available or unavoidable. Right? You can come back and answer that. Let me get one more. Someone wants to know: is there going to be any Western Games?
Oh yes, you say Western Games, and I get excited because listen, we brought back Western Games this year, 2025, and it was a bomb. And the minister attended, and she implored me to tell me to ensure that we also brought back Eastern Games. So what the approach I'm taking, I'm using gaps. So for example, on gaps we have all the principals. So I will be talking to the principals on the Eastern Corridor to ensure that we have an Eastern game. But as we speak, we already have a date for Western Games 2026, and it will be another exciting one. But Eastern Games, we are trying to bring back Eastern Games. Once we are successful, then we go back to the Southern Games.
The Western Games will be in Guelph or in Sotels?
But Western Games were established in 1994. And for many years, persons in Sotels used to come up with the suggestion, why don't you all rotate the Western Games? Have it sometimes in Sotels and sometimes in Guelph.
Because I did golf.
It was held in Sotels on 2 occasions when we had issues with the field at Cuthbert Peters Park.
Yeah. When they were,
But Western Games is a Guelph Games.
It's a Guelph Games. Yeah.
I don't have to say anything else. It's a Guelph
Games.
Yeah,
it's a Guelph Games. Yeah. It gives to what?
Yeah, but it would be a nice idea to, as you say, to rotate it, right?
It's about it's a Guelph Games, and I know I'm telling you, it's a Guelph Games. You don't mind traveling to Guelph. Yeah, after a year,
rotate it so the folks will be able to feel even now with Victoria Park, Victoria, the park in Victoria, I say Victoria Park, but Alston George Park, to be exact, right? That could also be one. So what's the date for it? What's the date?
I think it's the week before Intercol. Somewhere perhaps March 2nd or 3rd or so is a date. Is a week before Intercol. I'm supposed to have it on my phone, but yes, it's on.
Okay, and Intercol.
Here's the thing, Mr. Andall. Let me ask this question. The program certainly is not only for athletics; it's all sports. But here's a challenge or a concern that I have in terms of competition. And in school, year after year, even going back to my days, you see we have not much competition. I know this is a tight year. Do you have in mind for 2027, maybe after your games, after McDonald College to have an invitational to at least get another meet to get into before Western Games and before Intercol, so then they have at least 3 good meets before going into Intercol? Is that something that's in the plan? And extending on that, that we know after certain game, maybe after Intercol, it's almost track and field done in Grenada. With that program and the Ministry of Sports, are they looking to expand games in the summer when you say it's an all-year sport, that there are always games happening, so that those athletes always get a chance to run faster times so schools could see them and those type of things?
We have a challenge with the culture. So, for example, Whitsun Tides is a calendar event, and it's after Intercol. In 2025, we had the Classic Lightning Invitational meet after Intercol. So we have a few meets that normally take place after Intercol. The challenge is that it's like from one extreme to the next. So everything before Intercol, you have a packed stadium. As Intercol finish, you wonder where the fans gone. Regarding before Intercol, it's not like before. So thus far we have 2 mini meets just far.
Okay.
Mini and the mini meets keep on expanding and growing in magnitude. In the past, when you had a mini meet, was just the coaches and the athletes. Now you could actually charge a fee to go to mini meet, and patrons will come. So we have the Neville Classic, we have the Adrian Mitchell Classic. That's only next year. Then we have the National Champs, we have the Relay Meet, Western Games before Intercol. So it's kind of packed between now and Intercol. After Intercol, we will have the Classic, the Classic Invitational, as well as the
Whitsuntide
Games.
Yeah.
So it's not like before. The athletes have enough meets, but it's just about keeping them motivated. Because let me tell you this. Well, William, as a former athlete, you know, athletes are motivated to perform.
Yeah.
You have fans in it. Right. So the challenge we have is what can we do to get persons to understand that, listen, after Intercol and Carifta, the athletes still have other mates and they still need your support. They still need you to come out to support them. So they're going to be motivated to train and do well.
What we can do, what we suggested, Rudian, is like a champion of champions. Yes, Intercol have bragging rights, but it could be something that could culminate to say that, for example, I'm just using, that's just for example, right? I'm just using it for example. GBSS defeated McDonald College in the 4x4 at Intercol, and we at the whatever meet it is, that is could be the champion of champions. We can have a repeat where the guys look forward to seeking revenge, something like that. So, but something where the idea was that the schools that finish in the top, whatever it is, can meet later on, in your champion of champions, whatever you want to call it, right? Where they can come together again and have a repeat. People look forward to that. People look forward to a repeat performance then.
Stick up in. Remember when you had the Grenada Invitational, something like that also happening.
Well, we had one. The last.
Well, you take all the winners from Intercol, the relays as well as the races.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. You take the winners from the relay, for example, and you have a
not the relay, even the races.
Yeah. The problem though, as you were saying, Mr. Andall, is scheduling those things.
Yes.
How do you ensure too that even after Intercol, because everyone looks forward to Intercol, because Intercol is the bomb, right? How do you ensure that momentum from Intercol can move to, whatever championship you have in there with those athletes, ensuring that they continue to train and prepare for that, that sort of things. And my thing is that the whole idea of looking for, yes, you won the relay at Intercol, you win the Intercol championships, but I could have some bragging rights at the end because I could come back and could you imagine I coming and defeating the Intercol champion in the 4x4 or the 4x1 or whatever it is. So, it's how you package it. That's the idea.
I mean, we still have the same thing out here because our high school championship meet is the biggest meet. The biggest meet, like there's no bigger than it's bigger than the Canadian Championship. You're talking about almost 25 entries, because there's 3 different categories of each category have 24 in it for every category. Have 24 in it, but after that, you go to a Canadian Championship and it looks like this a Canadian Championship. You go to another meet and they say, like, really? Even previous to that, you go to some of the high school meet, it's just the athletes that there is kind of making up the whole thing. I guess you mentioned it's a cultural thing because a lot of these athletes, when it comes to the summertime, if they join a club, either 2 things. They want a scholarship or they love the sport. So they want to be in it. So they're not really there worry about the crowd. So they're there, I need to run a certain time because there's a school that needs that time for me to go ahead. So that mindset is there. And exactly how you said it, Bascom, because at our high school championship, one person going to beat you, but I'm going to meet them at the Ontario championship in 3 weeks. And we're going to meet up again. But this time it's under my club now, not under my school. Then you go to the Canadian Championship, you meet up with them again. Certainly it's a cultural thing per se that needs to needed to change. The athletes do need the support. However, sometimes it's hard. People walk in, people have, people take time off for some things, but not for everything. But it certainly is a challenge. But we need to get meets. That's the only how. Because I remember, when I listened to Shelley and Fraser and some of the Jamaican athletes, a lot of them was never top in character. It is after the season. And later on in the year, they get faster. Later on in the year, they run good because they were late boomers, right? So sometimes having those meets, like we said, is sometimes what helps some of these guys and them later on. So certainly we're hoping they could have meets going. And I would even look at it as having that's me. Like it's almost like a carnival special. People coming home the end of August or the end of July, right before you could have something that so a lot of people is home. A Grenadian championship right there. A lot of these athletes are competing. Some of that could be fun, because then you definitely could get some of the crowd. You can push it because you have a lot of foreigners home and so forth. But it's just my take on it in terms of having people coming in. But I think a lot of more meets do help, and it do help the athletes because that's the only how they can improve. And running in training don't help you get a scholarship in terms of a time trial. Schools don't look for that. The school look for actual time itself from a competition. So
okay,
Mr. Andall, Mr. Gotti Robinson has all been said. The National Sports Policy Council covers everything spoken. The present state of development seems to have been concentrated on financial rewards.
Yeah, I saw the comment.
Well, it's his opinion, financial rewards. Well, to an extent, he may have a point. That probably the mindset of quite a few people in terms of the development. They look at it more on the financial aspect of it. I mean, some people can argue differently, but that's his opinion of that. He may probably need to give some clarification on that per se. Gotti, as a former administrator himself, may be able to
I agree. I fully agree. I saw the statement. It's kind of vague though.
Yeah, to put some clarity on that.
But even going back with sports and basketball again, I am quite disappointed because I was very excited, but now I don't see nothing happening. Is having the Parish Sports Council, because through that, so much can happen in the parishes for a lot of these young athletes in a lot of different sports. And it's something that I was talking about, which now you can now have. Here comes your Grenada championship through the parishes. Every parish have an actual team in every sport, and you could constantly having sports happening. Or constantly sports is happening in Grenada of different sports. And I think that's something that when they decide to have it to come out, the sports policy and sports Parish Sports Council, all of a sudden there's nothing. I don't see nothing. I don't hear nothing. Mr. Andall, maybe you know more than we do because we out here looking to see what's going on, but we don't see nothing.
My only involvement in that sports policy. Somewhere around 2009, I was invited to the ministry as part of the consultation process, and I give relevant information, and that was that. So that's a while now. That's a while. That's a very long time.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Andall,
my views on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said my views regarding the sports council and its functions, but I won't share them today. But I have my views on it.
This is a show that says speak your mind, eh?
And in addition to that,
we understand.
In addition to that, we always interested and always excited to hear your views. Yeah, I know. When you share your views, you sort of shake, you sort of rock the boat,
I don't mind. Watch me. Once is the truth, I don't mind rocking the boat,
That's true.
Sometimes you actually need to capsize the boat, not just walk it. You need to
yeah, who could swim? Let them swim.
Definitely.
Give us a little more. Give us a little more about your team. For you, you mentioned your what quote unquote your management team or your committee or your LOC for Intercol, right? For every year we seem to always be, giving clarity as to the function of the Principals Association regarding the Intercol, because we have the Principals Association and we have the games or the Games Association. Give us some clarity on that, so people will understand.
We have the Principals Association, which is all the principals of the secondary schools, both private and public. And for Intercol, Intercol is a school thing, so all the schools have a role to play at Intercol over the years. And then we have the Games Association, which is more the technical committee, which contains of some of the principals, myself, the deputy, and a few other principals. Then we have the games director. We have people like Mr. Alden Clouden, Miss Moultrie. So we have games, the security, the marketing, all the aspects of the game. This committee consists of that persons. So it's a matter of they working together. So the principal is the general policy when the games are concerned. The Games Association, it go down to the nitty-gritty and more the technical aspects of the games. So they kind of work side by side simultaneously.
Okay, yeah, I think that's important. Roger Duncan is saying, let me see if you can fill it on the screen. Fans are a stakeholder in athletics. Having more athletic games is good, but there must be a strategy employed that will keep the fans involved and motivated, that will resound to revenue generation and overall support for the athletes and the games year-round. Example, video productions that features the life of a star athletes, coaches, athlete, parent, etc., will potentially drive more support for Grenada athletics. Let's employ an effective marketing strategy. So basically he's saying it's all well and good to have more athletics meets, more of these, but you need to have a strategy, because you do need to have a strategy in place.
Yeah, but I will tell Mr. Duncan, no matter what you do, you see the Intercol fever, it's a good thing and it's a very bad thing, because listen to me, you have Intercol this week, and next weekend you have another meeting, and the people will not show. The people will not show. Watch me, you could offer free entry, you could bring the best of the artists, the passion and the interest, you cannot replicate that. And it's a good thing for us and it's a bad thing for us, because you see, we have to get a person. So it's like, okay, so if you have, Mr. Silvan, if you have 20 minutes before Intercol, the interest, you know why? That is the build up,
yeah.
Inside, they want to know who have the edge. But it's like, once you reach the climax, the start to win, and as far as the concerned, see you next year.
Yeah, because look at a relay meet and all these things that you have. I mean, it's almost like a pre-Intercall itself, right?
Very much so.
Because they are before Intercall. It's a tune-up, it's a warm-up for Intercall, and you get good participation. You see the folks come out there.
So the one inside,
night. Yeah.
Yes, but the one inside, they want to see, they want to be in the know, because we got to understand an Intercol day. And I realize now it's like it becoming a parish thing, because I have seen persons from St. Andrew who went to GSS and who went to convent and who went to what, but it's like they see that is more than a school thing. So I don't know what we will do. It's really, really hard, because as I said to you, the classic lightning meet held by Mr. Bido after Intercol, I expected it to be good. It was just about 2 weeks after Intercol.
Yeah, well, that's true. So you started off by saying the challenge in terms of spectators and the interest. How and we've seen year after year the growth of Intercol. What sort of innovation, what sort of new ideas you believe that can be implemented? It may be too soon for 2026. It may be possible, but what do you see? How do you see the shape of Intercol in the future, based on what you are seeing, based on the challenges around? I know one has to do with, as you say, accommodation, because at one point in time you would have said, okay, we have the stadium now. and that should be able to accommodate Intercol. But as some people are saying, better you have the seating capacity as a cricket stadium when it comes to Intercol. Right?
Yes.
So what do you see the shape of Intercol? What Intercol will look like a year, 2 years from now, Mr. Andall?
Personally, other than the accommodation, I don't really have anything in mind as we speak. I don't have anything in mind, and that's why you see it's always good to keep an open mind. Persons like you and Mr. Sylvan, who you are exposed to missing the diaspora, because to me it's just a matter of commentary and ensure that they have world-class times and distances. But we at the point, because remember, we always have to remember where we came from. We came from Intercol, one day for girls, one day for boys. Then that kind of evolved into the 2 days, and now we in 3. We started to talk about having facilities to ensure that all the teams camp. So if all the teams could camp in an area close to St. George's, because persons talk about extending the games regarding having more events. The idea came up of having an athlete village in the city. So all the teams will travel, they go to the athlete village, and then you compete for the 3 days before they travel back to home. But for me, I don't really see any innovation to start, because even bringing in new events is a kind of dangerous thing for us. I've seen this Intercol persons doing athletes doing 7 and 8 events, and this is cause for concern.
Mr. Deputy is saying, greetings, Mr. Andall. Roger says, if rocking a boat is a person, that will be Carl Andall. And Mr. Deputy, he says, misbehavior of wilding parents should not be tolerated. Enthusiasm should be encouraged, but those who are disruptive, a temporary cell should be set up close to the bleachers for them.
To me, I have an idea. I remember there's 2 plays this year, but persons like that, we should do like the English system. If you go in the stadium and you have some misbehavior, it will be banned for a while, and this?
Yeah. But
you might be banned for a year.
Listen, a year. There are people in England who when England is playing France, they have to go in and give their passport. That means they cannot go. They have to go in and hand the passport over to the police, because they're not allowed to leave the country when England is playing France.
And that by itself is disturbing, because sometimes a lot of the disruptive and the misbehavior is not the kids. It comes from the adults, and you have to be very, very concerned. If the adults behaving like that, what example they would set for the kids? Because persons that don't understand sport, I love sport, because sport, I come up against you, somebody would win. But at the end of the day, it should not be anything personal. I shouldn't try to hurt you. I shouldn't try to defame you. Persons that don't understand what sport is about. Come on, and if I win, at least I have bragging rights for the next year until we meet again. But some persons just think, so personally, I would be one for that. To identify you and you had disruptive behavior. Initially, we go give you a 2-3 year ban, and we'll make it publicized. We'll let everybody know Michael Bascom is banned from Intercol for the next 5 years because of his behavior.
And in some instances, you are banned not just for the event, but from the facility as well. It can, So the stadium itself, the stadium authority can also institute a ban, like how the organizers are instituting a ban. So you can be banned for Intercol for the next 2-3 years, but the stadium authority can say, we can ban you from any activity in the stadium for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And the point you made there is important, because most times people get the impression are the athletes, are the students. And most times are the adults themselves. The adults themselves that get.
When you interact with the athletes, you see the athletes interact among themselves. They are very, very friendly with each other. They are very cordial. They are very friendly. They're very competitive, but out of that, they are very, very friendly with each other.
And remember, most of the athletes have been competing, whatever meets they have for the year, they meet, and it just happened that when Intercol is a little more competition, more competitive.
Yeah.
But they have been meeting and competing against each other for the whole year.
Some of the athletes competing, they're competing since they're 5 years old. You know, some athletes competing since primary school.
Right.
For the parishes, so they know each other.
They know each other.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So it's just, Mr. Andall, your so you organization and the principals, you guys are responsible for finding room and board for all the schools that's coming in. Is that yeah?
No, so as we speak, it's only Carrico. We're responsible for Carrico, the 2 teams from Carrico.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but as I said, we're thinking going forward having an athlete village where the children from the outer parishes could be able to stay in central locations close to the stadium.
Okay. Because what we do here, we host our zone host last year. This year, we look at hotels, and like we was at York University this year, so we could have get some rooms in there as well. So we have all of this on our website at different hotels, and we just put it out there, and it's their responsibility to book different hotels and so forth based on, so it's just the school's responsibility to do that. By you identify the hotels, you talk to them, you get a deal, so there's a price, and it's up to them now to go and book their own hotels and so forth.
Yeah. Said, which school going into?
No. Listen, I'm just saying, yeah.
The whole idea of them probably doing some of the groundwork and providing it to the schools and things like that, so that they can look at that. But I think it's a good idea in terms of if you can get all the athletes from the various
in one place,
will be in one place, as you say it, like athletes village. I think that will be wonderful for the competitiveness too of the meet, because athletes will be less fatigued. They have not much to worry about, all these sort of challenges you have in terms of getting athletes back to the stadium on time and all these things. Yeah, I think.
No, and listen, Mr. Andall, we come a long way. Like you said, coming from Sauters and coming down for Intercol for all these years, and then go back up. I don't even know what time you go before the next morning.
Yeah, but it's not Sauters. Remember, Mr. Andal told us the last time.
You know what I mean. Go to Hermitage and go down to Davy and go to the Poetry, and there's places you have to get to, before you get these kids in them home.
Over the last 2 years, we have been camping, both teams.
Yes.
We started the camp with the girls team about 8 years ago. And since 2024, the boys team have been camping also. So thank God we cannot get over that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
camp.
So the camp, the camp,
it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly.
We camp on Grenada Road, the Presbyterian Church.
Yeah.
We have Presbyterian school, McDonald College. We have Presbyterian school.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a Presbyterian.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is a Presbyterian school. Yeah.
Okay.
So we camp in the Presbyterian Church for the last few years. We've been camping there, and it's very good for the athletes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Certainly. Is there any new events that is added on this year for Intercol?
No.
That is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Are we looking to add a mix relay that is non-points? Due to schools that have one sex,
it must be non-points, eh? But who would go in that event?
I mean, they can still get medals, but not run.
Okay, but who would go once there's no points? Who would go in the event? Who would run?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, Intercol points. Yeah, 1 point.
That's true. But you do have some athletes that may want to be a part of the team who couldn't make it and so forth, that they may want to just use for relay.
Yeah. Yes, so I agree, and that's why I asked the question, because eventually the quality persons wouldn't send the top athletes to run the mixed relay.
No. Yeah, there's no point. Yeah. And then, like I said, they could only run one relay anyways, because if we are following World Athletics rule, you can't do both relays. You got to do one, right?
Right,
So,
you can do that. Remember,
yeah,
schools like the GBSS, the convent, and the high schools also, they
yeah.
cannot participate in the mixed relays. So
Well, they could mix up or not. Convent and GBSS could mix up and mix up
probably
and mix up.
just for entertainment.
And that's the team and part of it. Of yeah.
Just for entertainment on Intercol. When last you came to Intercol?
But listen, during the break, when I'm talking about non-competitive athletes, because like everybody not going to make it.
Hold on, non-competitive athletes?
In the terms of points wise, you're not going to take somebody that you can get 8 points from and put them in there.
All the athletes on those teams are competing, and they're competing for points. Mind you that there's no loafer, there's no freebie, there's no what do you call it? There's nobody just coming on the team because they want to get it. They have to be on the team because they have to make a contribution.
Brilliant. When last you came to Intercol?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
So right now, I don't think you understand the intensity, I don't think you understand.
No, I understand it, man. I understand it, man.
The week of Intercol is a nervous period, right? I can tell you that. There's a nervous period, and it could be even before that, but generally, it's a nervous time for athletes. I mean, the Intercol fraternity, even for the fans, they become nervous. A lot of the chatter on social media is all nervousness, Guys are nervous. People are becoming they becoming a bit fidgety, and so that's the way of expressing yourself, and think. Intercol is so intense. I'm telling you that there's someone who experienced Intercol for the first time. Was someone from Guyana, I remember. When it was brother, what's his name? Former Jeremiah. Yeah, and I sent him some of the information from that person, and they said they have never experienced a school event like that. Yeah, they experienced Intercol, and it was something that they have never experienced, and that's. I mean, if they come now, they probably might drop dead. You understand? Because that was about when Jeremiah was there, was 3 years ago or so. Yeah. Right? It was their first time experiencing something like that in terms of school sports, right? And I said, well, this is Grenada, and Jamaica is at another level. But they say for a small country as Grenada, they have never seen that sort of passion. And they're talking about all the spectators, and they talk about looking around the stadium and just bewildered by the noise. And listen, the noise. They said continuous rhythm from the morning to the evening. They don't know how people do those things. This is something I believe that we have going for us for Intercol, right? I don't know for 2026 what it will be like in terms of. Especially with what had happened to Jamaica with Melissa and the intensity in terms of boys and girls champs. But I'm certain if we can use that opportunity to market Intercol, it will be a situation where not just Grenadians, but other people in the region come to see Intercol.
So what you put in them?
Well, that's the other thing. You talk about the
first come, first serve. That's what it is. It's first come. And that's why it's ticket. That's how it is. It's ticket. It's glitches. But you don't have,
We had some tickets online. Because remember, for the very first time this year, we had finish line and such.
Yeah.
You will not believe it. How
they gone.
Fast those things gone, eh?
Yes. But so though it's time for you guys to put a big screen on the outside and charge more. You understand? You small fee, you put something on the outside where they can watch on a screen from the outside now.
That's coming here, where you going to that?
because what would that do for you guys as well? It open up opportunities for sponsors. It open up because there's companies now out there who is looking to support, who is looking at there's a lot of these small islands now to support in any way that they can. That could certainly open up that could just suddenly open up for you guys. That because, like I said, we don't know what would happen in Jamaica this year. For the first time in history, because of Melissa, Grenada could have a better, um, um, you know, i- um, sporting games than Jamaica because we're right there behind them. Yeah, they have all the people, but due to what happened, we could see a difference this year, in this upcoming year. Yeah, in this upcoming year, and that could really be an opportunity. That can surely be an opportunity.
So Mr. Andal, are you saying now, as it is, the major challenge for Intercol is the accommodation?
So let's come. Last year, 2024 Intercol.
Or 2025 this year? Or
No,
last
no, I'm
year?
talking about last year, 2024.
Last year, 2024.
At 10 o'clock, the police was ready to close down the main stand.
Really?
So listen, and that's last year. And I remember this year, by 7 o'clock, persons was cussing me. They ready to go inside. The police tell me no, the gates opening at 8. And fans come out from the outer parishes, they're ready to go inside and have the seats.
Yeah.
You understand? And the only place I'm seeing that going is upwards. Persons will normally time the holidays or the day off to go to the park. So where this is concerned, I am not seeing any let up. And since this year, we were looking at places where we could put temporary bleachers.
Yeah,
we were looking at places where we could put temporary bleachers.
But even if you do, what sort of capacity you're looking at in terms of additional? How many?
5,000.
Well, I don't have no figure in mind, but I know without a doubt that the capacity is an issue.
But that's a good thing, eh? That's not a bad thing. That is a good thing for the sport itself. And I think it will show to the people want to come early because we have a habit of going to everything late. No, that's what I'm saying. To come early, and you'll show other people to, hey, next year I'm going to buy my ticket the minute you come out. I want to be first in line. So it's a good thing because there's only so much you can hold. There's nowhere else to put it. Unless they build another stadium somewhere. Where? Unless they expand the stadium, which probably that could be a possibility, but it's a challenge.
Oh, let me tell you what I spoke about, Mr. Bascom. You see the current bleachers?
Yeah.
Oh, put another level on it?
Another level.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that is a possibility. Yeah.
And that's another possibility.
Another level and then cover it.
Then cover it, yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Well, how about the closing off the other side, that open area? And making both of them connect.
No, but you're talking about where the
scoreboard is.
No, that's he's talking about the uncovered bleachers.
The uncovered bleachers. Yeah, the concrete one.
You can probably put another layer on. Basically, isn't that's the one you're talking about, Mr. Andall?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's the one. Okay, so that's the same one. Okay. Yeah,
that's the same one. Yeah. That's a possibility. Yeah. That's a possibility. Because as in terms of its current location and how it's constructed, I don't think there's much you can do in terms of expanding than to do something like what is suggested, right? Because then you have the cricket stadium right next to it there. I mean, I always said I wish the capacity of the cricket stadium was the capacity for the athletics.
Not continue. You know, the old stadium before Ivan was bigger than this one.
Yes, it was.
Sebastian?
Yes, it was.
It was? In terms of capacity, right?
Yes, in terms of capacity.
Yeah.
I understand. And who decided to build that new one smaller?
But here you're going to have a challenge, right? With because now if you bring a proposal, let's just say we're talking, and we're just talking here. You bring a proposal for them to add another bleacher, then they're going to say, what other event do you have in the year that could hold that capacity of number of people? And so you guess what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, the cricket stadium can hold. The cricket stadium never full yet, or perhaps until I think it was the 50th Independence celebration.
50th Independence, yeah. 50th Independence, yeah. Nothing yet.
A capacity near the stand. Comment from Nerissa?
Yeah, I just saw that comment from Nerissa.
You remember the first invitational? We had some seats.
Yeah, that's some
around
seats
that
around that state. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that a lot of ideas, I think.
No, I came up with that idea this year. No, me and John spoke about that this year because I remember I was sitting in that area during the first invitational.
Yeah, so I'm saying that to say you will do a sort of, you will take your team and do like a walk around the stadium and ensure that, whatever ideas can come up that fill the gaps for 2026.
Yeah, what I would have to do with the Minister of Sports because they have the capacity to make the changes. You know,
the changes.
Gaps, we don't have that capacity. So.
Gotti is saying, I expect the Boys and Girls Champs 2026 in Jamaica will attract more international interests. Track and field performance of the athletes will be part of the healing process. Yes or no? Is a
yes and no? It's a yes and no.
It all depends on how the
yes or no. I would say it's a yes. You know.
No, I'm saying it all depends on how quickly they go about in terms of the recovery, right? Mm-hmm. Because that could be a yes in terms of how quickly, because then there will be people who may argue that as much as it's a healing process, we have people who still do not have the necessary things for survival. They don't have a roof on their head. They don't have things to eat. So it's all part, you have to look at how the healing process.
And you also have some of the major schools that's really destroyed. And we don't know when school is really going to start back for some of these athletes, right? Or some of the students, I may say, because because some of the schools is done, like St. Elizabeth, which is the president of the CSAP. That this is the school he's at. The school is destroyed. The school is destroyed. So
sports in some schools. There's a comment there for you, Mr. Andall and Mr. Silvan. I don't have the person's full name, but they say
that's Tima Gilbert.
Tima Gilbert. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Well, let me say this before you go. In my opinion, let me give my opinion now. You see, we're talking about children here. My opinion, the best female track and field athlete that ever came to Grenada, Tima Gilbert.
Tima Gilbert is the one. Oh, so that's her there. Okay, nice. Hearing from you, Tima.
She commented before, and she commented before. That's a second comment.
Oh, that's a second. Okay, Tima.
Yes,
okay, Tima G. Right. She says, Mr. Andall said it was nice listening to you guys as my past teacher and past representative of McDonald College track and field years gone by. So she's really trying to put some age on you folks. She's trying to put age on you. I know, eh? And then Koti is saying after Ivan we had Intercol in 2026. Yeah, but I'm not in 2025, 2020. What was it? Ivan was what?
Listen, in 205, they had Intercol after Ivan at the cricket stadium. They call it the best of the best. And the normal Intercol resumed in 206.
In 206, it resumed.
Yeah,
right?
But in 205, we had something at the stadium. As we call it, the best of the best.
Okay, yeah, the best of the best. Yeah, that was the name. Yeah, the best of the best.
Which I never agree with. I never agree with.
He considered it to be part of the healing process,
Yeah, but we could have normal Intercall that year.
Okay.
Somebody was playing smart. They didn't want to. When they have a team from Sauters and a team from Song and a team from Grenville, I will never agree.
I wonder when the boy from the University of
I think they're the one in charge. They're the one in charge. That's why.
Yeah, so that would have been 6 championship. So
yeah, it was. Yeah.
The dean of the university. Yes, I'm not hearing him. Let me say thanks, guys. You all have me tied here. That's Tima.
Yes.
There is how about hosting the Boys and Girls Champ in Grenada? Just brainstorm. Roger.
Tell him one's called bank sponsoring.
Yeah, once they sponsor. And they can fly me and bus come down, we good.
Yes.
Phillips, I think what is needed is Sports Excellence Center of Excellence, the Sports Center of Excellence.
He's correct. He's correct. Yes. We need to come to that. I think we'll get there one day. I think we're coming to that.
Yeah,
that was mentioned yesterday during the launch of the program.
During the launch, yeah.
That was mentioned. I think we'll get there.
Certainly, there's something a lot that we need to do, and I want to also add, Mr. Andall, and you mentioned about Mr. Glean in his mid-80s and what yes, we do have the Neville Glean Classic and blah blah blah, but these folks, we need to give them their flowers.
Take it out of my mud basket. We need to give them the flowers while they are alive.
Yes,
we need to give them their flowers.
You have to give them.
And let me say this too. McDonald College they did it. Mr. Glean, the name Mr. Glean will live on for years in McDonald College because it's now a part. It's still in McDonald College due to one of the houses named after him. And that's not going to be out anytime soon. It's going to be there forever. But I think something else should be done, certainly, to recognize him for all that he has done. And he has done great things, not only for me, but for many other athletes in Grenada. I start you. Something. Name the stadium. Name like for example, let me say this. Name the 4 recreation ground after him.
Mr. Silva, there's already a proposal to name the 4 recreation ground after Restless. You know who's Restless?
What's
it? Frank Bartholomew?
Oh, Frank Bartholomew.
Okay.
That's before your time.
Yeah, allow me for my time. But that proposal could fail. And then the proposal could fail. And then Mr. Glenn.
Why?
It's so funny because here in Toronto, the coach that coached me while I was here, they named the stands, the track after him. They named the track after him, but not the stadium.
Yeah.
So the track is his name, but the stadium is still Birchmont Stadium, but the track is the Bill Stevens Stadium, right? So maybe something like that, something like that could happen. The field could be the Neville Glean field, and it could be something like that could happen.
And that's a good point you made there, Rudy. And there's a lot of these things where the facility has one name and the field could have another name.
That's true. And then the different
stands and things. Yeah.
Because listen, man, because we need, like I said, we need Mr. Glean name to remember across the parish of St. Patrick's, across the parish. Not only, like I said, in the McDonald College, but across the parish, because man, he helped so many of us. Some went out to be successful, and some was successful in their own little bracket. But he did great things, and he's still alive, man. There's something we can do. We could have a Neville Glean Day. We could do something, a day that named after him. Like there's so many things we can do. Certainly, even if it's a day where there's a march, even if the McDonald College students doing a march, in the town for him. There's something like that.
We said to give him his flowers. We had at our sports, we did the official handover. At the Neville Glean Classic last year, he was handed a plaque. Also, he was recognized. So generally, he's been given his flowers. I'll say a statue, but we can't have too much statue in Grenada.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there because great men like this. When we don't have them again. And the knowledge that they have, the us who's coming up, who's still in the sport, who's still coaching, and those young ones who's coming up, it's a different breed. It's a different group of people. They don't have that what. Listen. You could give Mr. Glean a video, and he could look at it and tell you what's wrong. He could look at it. He don't have to see the athletes. He can look and tell you, hey, this person should be running the 800. He can just watch it and they'll tell you, right? A lot of people today, a lot of these young coaches coming up don't have that kind of that kind of talent
So
to identify like this.
that's the thing, Mr. Andall, I was talking about in terms of tapping the brains of these guys. In terms of, I mean, yeah, okay, I could bring Mr. Glean on a program and chat with him, right? It might be a bit formal, but you know, having a chat with him at home or somewhere, he sits and he is comfortable wherever he is, and you have a sort of one-on-one that is being documented, right? It could be an hour and a half, 2 hours just chatting with him. You'll have a sip of water, whatever it is he wants to have, and he's just recollecting, you know, of his time as a participant, as a schoolboy, as a participant, as a coach, you know, as a mentor, you know, calling names of people that he coached, whoever it is. From there, you can probably go and chat to somebody again that he mentioned, you know, these sort of things. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't forget as a GBSS boy.
Yeah, okay. Well, see that
you know Mr. Green is a GBSS boy.
Yeah, but I'm saying, see that he's based in St. Patrick. He has coached so many of those folks.
I just teasing you.
On St. Patrick. I know. You know? And I'm using Mr. Glean because you mentioned his name, and his name was mentioned earlier, right? He's one of many that we can tap into in terms of their knowledge, in terms of documenting history, sporting history. Because he is not just, as a matter of fact, from what I understood, Mr. Glean might be, quote unquote, a genius in track and field, but he's very knowledgeable about other sports.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he is. Very much so.
Yeah, he's very knowledgeable about other sports. So as much as you might talk to him about track and field, he's one who can tell you about football. And these are the sort of things I'm talking about. Probably our parish sports councils can, the low-hanging fruits, that they can have someone who can just go and do it. And listen, I don't see that as a means of you need money to do something like that. I mean, in this day and age, with social media, with this and that, anybody can just go with a phone or whatever it is and get good quality recording Mr. Glean sitting, just chatting, just recollecting on his days, going back looking for somebody else in the parish. He might mention somebody that in the parish that he might mention a name. You go and you do something again, and you can document these things, archive them, right? Yeah.
So what you're saying is true, but what I'm telling you, for the last 15, 20 years, we have been doing that. We just don't recording because we don't really want to share. What is sharing with us? We don't really want to share.
No, but no, it's not about showing his knowledge on that. Because even right now, Mr. Andall, if you go into the school and you ask maybe five students how many titles the boys he have, they can tell you. Yeah. But if you ask them how many titles the McDonald College ever win, they can't tell you. There's something that we have.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
Yeah. But if you know what I'm saying, right? So I'm just saying some of these things need to be out there. Because like in McDonald, like out here in high schools, they have banners in the school. When they win a championship, they actually get a banner.
Yeah.
So that's what they put up in the school. You walk into the gymnasium, so you've seen it. You know,
so I should put up some football banners. I will put up some football banners.
You put up some stuff, yes. Like I know. It's funny. I was thinking that a few years ago that it's time to get all our championship in football on one banner the year, and then now you put up a flag, put it up on a flagpole.
So what
in the school, for example, so it shows the years, you know,
If you go to the GBSS auditorium, for example. You have, I don't know if they still do it, but since 1960, well, no, not 19, from many years ago, you can find the names of the Victor Lutherum.
They still do that. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they still
the Victor Lutherum, and in some instances they'll add like the years of winning championships and all these other houses and all these things. Something to that effect you can do so that at some point in time, there's somewhere in the school where somebody can go and they can see. McDonald
College, I would take note of that. I agree with that.
Champion of Intercol football, blah blah. In 2009, they won.
Correct. I would do.
You know,
you could have one.
Yeah.
You could have one plaque, one big thing, and then you have different disciplines.
And different disciplines, different things. And you could turn it. And Mr. Andall, you could turn this exact same thing into a project in your school. and have students maybe design something as a competition, design a plaque or design something that looks good that shows the championship years or just something as something that energize them or give them different ideas to sit down and put something together or something like that into a competition just within the school alone, and then it could be this is the final thing. So
All right. Roger says, seriously, folks, we really need to do better at digitally storing and presenting for consumption the performances of athletes, the heights, the
distance and time.
times. And Tema is saying, I totally agree with the panel. Mr. Green, father of sports, very good mentor. Yeah, he's considered the father of sports for the parish as well. Mr. Green is a Cobb Bank boy. His father is one of the founders of Cobb Bank, now the largest bank in Grenada and the third largest in OECS. Understand the contribution of this family to the socio-economic development of Grenada. So a little more history, right?
Mr. Duncan, I thought you know that history. Me and Mr. Duncan talk about that history many years ago.
Well, that is
new. That's new for me.
His father.
Yes,
his father. Yeah.
Yes, his father. His father.
Oh, really?
When Mr. Duncan was doing the research, I had to link both he and Mr. Glynn to get some information on this.
Oh, to get some
Remember,
information.
had a book published some years ago. Yeah,
okay.
So he was one of the founding fathers.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But I have to tell Mr. Duncan though that regarding the information, we have the meet manager system. So all the mini meets and other things that we're talking about, this information could be retrieved. I guess Mr. Duncan don't have access to them.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that is an important point. Let me tell you why. Coach Lee Coffey made that observation on our program. I think it was after Intercol or one of those meets because it was not updated, right? And it had a little issue in terms of with the commentators because they were going based on the information that was there, but it was, and I think Mitchell, did acknowledge that there was some technical issue in terms of updating it. So I'm hoping that going into Intercol 2026, all the information, the updating of all the information, including the records, because we do have a difference. We have the national records, we have the stadium records, and we have the meet records.
Yes.
So the Intercol record, for example, might be different to a stadium record. Or it might be different to the national record. Okay. So all these things are things that we have to make sure that we identify because I think the commentators were going based on information they had in front of them, but at the time it was different information, right? Because we're saying Intercol record, national record, and you also have the facility record, which is the stadium record, because somebody can do whatever time or distance at the stadium at a different meet. Right?
But we also have some date change as well. Do we have some date change as well? Because we used to have sub-junior, junior,
No, we already got back to normal.
Go back to normal. Okay.
We had some date changes where we had they had prep, senior, and sub-junior. But right now it's back to it.
Yeah.
However, I need some assistance from you. We need to work on what we normally used to call the Intercol preview.
Right. So I know Roger mentioned that earlier because that to me was important. It's a project I know Mr. Francis used to do back then, right? Yeah, about the Intercol. Yeah, he says the last Intercol preview was 1989. Fans can only support more games if they begin to follow athletes and not the school only. I attended Intercol last year, but I hardly know the athletes, but I know my alma mater. So why should I attend another athletics games after Intercol? Making the point that if you don't know the athletes, then you don't really
can follow them. Yeah.
So you were making the point of the preview, right?
Yes, the preview. And right now, it's not very difficult to have the preview, because I will tell you why. Many of the athletes, they would participate in the mini meets, they would participate in national champs, they would participate. So you have data about them.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to you, and I also talk to Mr. Clouden because I know he's very interested in that.
And it becomes even easier now with, you know, digital, as you say, the digital things. You have the information. It's easy to provide that. Matter of fact, in one of the discussions we had, they were talking about, back then we printed the Intercol preview. Now you don't necessarily have to print it. People can even have a scan a barcode and you get it digitally. You know, you have it on your device. You know, so you don't necessarily have to have a printed thing. So even someone in the diaspora, for example, can have an Intercol preview that they can follow. Right?
You can follow. Yeah.
Because then we used to have the printed version where you sit in the stadium and you have there and you blah blah blah. No, you can have
picture. You look at a picture of them, everything. Yeah.
You can click on a picture of a particular athlete and you get all the information about them and this and that. So that's something. Yeah, I agree with that, and probably I can have a discussion with Sir Clouden as well with that because I know he's very much. And again, you know, the National Sports Council, which Mr. Clouden is part of, can probably even take that in as a project because
they
do have they do have personnel and probably the time, and whatever assistance I can give, I probably give that. You know, but I think for 2026, the Intercol preview will be nice, and especially with the digital era we are in now, it makes it even more
easier, easy access,
you know, and things like that. So, and you know, and people will have access to those things and lots of information as per se. And things like that. So those are two projects we need to work on: the preview and making sure ensuring that the information updated. Yeah, I think that is because that will guide the coaches, that will guide the athletes, and that will guide the spectators as well. Because you don't want this year you had commentators was speaking about a record when there wasn't even a record. But I don't blame them because they were going based on they were going based on the information they had in front of them.
They have in front of them.
It wasn't, you know, correct. It wasn't correct information. And I think it was Lee Coffey was one who made that observation. He brought it to the attention of Mr. Journal, and Mr. Journal spoke to me and he did admit that there were some little issues and they hope to get that resolved. Hopefully they got it resolved, updated, and things like that. So yeah. So Mr. Andall, always a pleasure. Final word from you regarding well, I mean, I know you all folks are still celebrating, but you know, congratulations once again.
Yes. So final word. So the celebration is still ongoing. We took to the shoots on Monday. We'll be going
on Monday?
Monday last.
Yeah, Monday last. Okay.
Monday last, we were on the streets Monday last. The streets of Saturday. You didn't see that?
Well, yeah, I was hoping.
Hello?
I follow it from start to finish.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear if something was planning for Monday again. I hope Monday.
No. We'll be going to church next weekend. We're going to, and from there, then we'll have a big fete for them. And next year, we'll have an emulation ceremony for them sometime January to coincide with the school anniversary. So I must say, I'm very happy. This one was a really, really special one. And we'll do that. So we're going to end on that note.
Yeah, well, that's good. And then final word on the Intercol 2026.
No, well, as I said before, all the advertisements where Intercol is concerned is already done because it's in the Grenadian psyche. Our task is just to improve it, make it better, and ensure that since now the athletes get the support. Because you see, my view at Intercol is different from a lot of persons. I track talent, I spot talent, and to me, it don't really matter what school they come from. It's very, very important for our talent to blossom. So
I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong when I talk about a progressive mind. Go ahead.
But that's the way it should be, because, you know, as you say, we're very small, but we're full of talent, and that's why, as I said, I was extremely happy with the launch that took place at my school yesterday, and I think the only place we could go from here is forward. I also have plans. I trust that the corporate Grenada could come on board so I could increase prize monies, because I know without a doubt the expenses schools and money would go through to have a good program and to have a winning Intercol team. So that's the last I would say for now.
No,
until I know we'll meet again sometime next year.
Yeah, but you might want to respond to Roger.
No, I will meet Roger in the street.
He really wanted the celebration to put it, you know, it's hot to him. So,
well, you know, tell Roger the GBSS match was not even a close one, you know.
Okay.
It wasn't even close. I mean, it's so sad, but say what?
Yeah, and the dean of the University of the GBS has gone quiet, so we want to find out what happened to him. We have not heard from him.
The dean is in a meeting. The dean is in a meeting.
The dean got quiet.
So for me, I'm preparing to go to the stadium we had Costa Rica, as Mr. Sylvan said, and you're very correct. That's one of the best teams I've seen we have gathered, because we have this young lady from England, this Bido. I never see her play. I understand she has Carrick roots. Bido.
That's the one who is that's the poster girl. The poster girl.
No.
Don't get me started, you know. The poster girl is my student, you know. The poster girl. Yes, she left school a few.
Student.
Years ago, she's a poster girl.
Well, you have some girl,
but we have some. So she's local based, but she has scholarship in the US. That's a poster girl.
Okay,
but we have Bill from England. And we have Melina. Huh?
No, I'm saying the poster girl seems to just show vibes now that everybody wants to be in the stadium. You know,
the poster girl is a former track athlete. She's very young too. She's just like early 20s.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, and based on what I heard too, because I remember they had a session in Texas some weeks ago, right?
Yes.
And from what I understand, you know, lots of talent, you know, and it could be a very competitive game on tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Although you and I know Costa Rica is a team that always play in World Cup, so we know when you come against Costa Rica, you come up against them quality. But when I look at people like Malia Ramnani, we look at the Thompson girl, it's a good team we get together. Huh?
Is Fullerton on the team still? Melania?
Yes. Melania on the team still. And you know she's an international, so
yeah.
It will be a good game. So when I leave here, it's just to get ready down to the stadium. So
yeah, that's good. Have
a good evening.
Yeah, we rooted for the girls. Thank you very much, Mr. Andall. Anytime, and again, you know, we'll have to bring you on again in your capacity as chair. We will be talking just Intercol 2026. So we look forward to having you in the new year. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, sir. Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
All right. Okay then. Yeah. So that's Mr. Carl Andall, the principal of the McDonald College, and he's also chair of the Principal Association, and they're getting ready for Intercol 2026. And as we heard from Mr. Andall, you know, it appears to be surpassing expectation for what we had for 2024. The big challenge they have, Rudian. I'm not surprised, Rudian, that accommodation is the biggest challenge for them.
Yeah, Sowers will be. Like I said, they are only focusing on the school. I guess it's hard now because you don't know the number of people that's coming in. So it could be a challenge, but certainly.
If you go by what it was for this year, and the number of people who have expressed an interest in being it's like Spice Mass. I recall Spice Mass 2023. There are people say, "Hey, I'm not missing Spice Mass 2024, 2025." 2025 came and it was bomb. And there are people who said, "Hey, you know something?
The book already."
I'm not missing
the book already,
and the book already. So Intercol could have that sort of effect as well. That people are saying, "Hey," and again, there are a lot of people who show that interest, as you know, the seasons. Once we hit the new year, so we have GBSS with their sports in a few days' time, right? They are the defending champions, Intercol boys champion, and then early in the new year, because Intercol will be very early. Matter of fact, it will be March 10, 11, and 12. Folks, remember that Intercol will be March 10, 11, and 12, right? Look, for example, McDonald College will have their sports meets as early as February 13th, right? And then we'll have a number of schools that will have try to cram their meet within the
meets in between that,
right? Yeah, to get in as early as possible, because he told me that most of the principals, well, all the principals are already aware of the dates for Intercol. And it's all because of the cricket game between Australia and West Indies, the women's cricket game at the time. So they're trying to have the Intercol early. So the schools will have their sports meet early, and then they will have probably some time to prepare themselves for Intercol, and then the Grenada team will have some time to prepare for Carifta games.
Carifta games,
yeah, which will be probably 3 weeks after, right?
Yeah. So it's good. It's a win-win. It's a win-win all around.
It is. You know, and we're looking forward to, you know, folks. Please, you know, if you want to, you know, get to Grenada, get your dates organized, well, probably your tickets, because the most important thing is getting to Grenada. You can always purchase your ticket when they become available, because I think good for the thing, right? So just remember the dates. It's March 11 to the 12th, right? For Intercol 2026. Just remember that, folks. All right. March 11 to the 12th. No, sorry, that should be the 10th, right? I think it's the 10th. The 10th to the 12th. It's 3 days, right?
3 days.
Yeah. So I think so it's the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Yeah. The 10th, 11th, and 12th for Intercol 2026 at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Anything else we need to discuss, Rudian?
No, I think that's it for now. Ohio State is up 27-9.
27-9.
So I'm okay. I'm all right now. I'm okay.
On stream to win over the
team that they couldn't beat, or the Wolverines, the team they couldn't beat for many years.
And which is the other big matchup we should look forward to later on?
Alabama and Auburn.
Alabama, Urban. Who again? That's about, I think.
LSU. Who LSU playing today? LSU and somebody.
Could you imagine? That's a snow fighter going on there, right?
Oh man.
A lot of snowfall in there, right? We do have in terms of that seems to be the 3 o'clock. Any big one? Tulsa, Arkansas, Missouri, Duke and Wake Forest. That is basketball. No, I'm saying Duke and Wake Forest. They're known for basketball, but there's a matchup. Minnesota and Wisconsin is later on. Oklahoma and LSU. We have them later on.
That's the game. That's the other game. That's big. That's a big game.
That's Oklahoma. That's at 3:30. Well, it should be
soon.
Well, do you have a home game between the Florida Gators and the Florida State? that is a rivalry, dog.
That is a rivalry. There's a rivalry in everything. It doesn't matter what it is. There's a rivalry in that in Florida.
Yeah. That prime time game at 7:30 will be Auburn and Alabama, right?
Yeah.
So I look forward to that one, and I guess that's a SEC championship game.
SEC game,
yeah. So that's at 7:30 tonight. I will have to be split screen because obviously I'll be trying to look at the Grenada.
Grenada game.
The Grenada game. Yeah. All right,
I'm certainly have to say I'm liking the Grenada team, like I said from the beginning. Let's just see how they perform now. See how they perform.
Yeah. So our next program will be scheduled for the 6th of December. It could be our last for 2025. You know, we usually will take a break.
Yeah.
Get ourselves back up, you know, for 2026. You know, we want to give everyone their time to reflect. So it may very well be our last program for the 2025. So we will probably do a incorporation of a lot of things. Have a open discussion.
We'll tie some stuff. Open discussion, tie some things in.
Have folks come in, passing in and in whatever, you know. The dean of the University of the GBSS probably may try to put in a few words. We'll have probably hear from Ali DeBella, George Gotti Robinson, Cleve Depredine, Edwin Sam, all the folks, hear from them. What probably were your best moments for sports for 2025 and looking forward
maybe that,
to
maybe that, maybe,
2026.
I mean, maybe that could be the topic. What was your best moment or your best, yeah,
And I'm looking forward to 2026, right?
or your biggest disappointment or whichever it is, that would be something good. Yeah.
And as well, you probably your top sporting personalities, who you
Your top
believe,
sportsman,
or your
top
top sporting
sportsman.
person,
Yeah.
the person,
Yeah. Man or
personality.
woman for the year. Yeah, yeah.
Don't let the leave out
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
sporting personalities, stops, whatever event. Just share with us what you believe, what on your mind for 2025, and then we'll just briefly looking forward to 2026.
2026.
By then, to Rudian, we'll also have the budget would have been presented because the budget has been presented this week coming, right?
This week, yes. So we're
So,
gonna know what's going on.
so we
Yeah.
should have an idea of the budget
What
for
is what? Yeah. Yeah.
sports for 2026. So we have a lot of things to discuss
To discuss. Yeah.
on our last program, right?
All right. No problem.
Thank you very much, Rudian.
You too. Have a good one.
All the best.
All right.
All right. So that's Rudian Silvan, my co-host in Toronto. And it's a cold weekend, not just in Toronto. It's all over, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah, folks. So as usual, I want to thank you for being part of our program. All the folks who have been, making their comments, and we'll probably, as we say, we'll try to wrap up our program for 2025 on our next program, which will be our final program for the year, and we'll try to get all that you think about your top moments, sporting moments, top sporting personalities, all these sort of things. I'm looking forward to 2026. Always a pleasure being with you folks. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend.